Everything's alright. I'm hooked on a feeling.
He crushed it.
I'm high on
It's a grand slam.
what you're with me.
I'm telling you, it's time to party.
Lips as sweet as candy.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the SoxHub podcast, episode 6, home of the third place, half game out of a wild card spot, Boston Red Sox. I am your host, Brandon McAlery, and alongside me is the one, the only, the zesty lefty slinger, Trotta Too Hottie, aka Matt Trotta. How you doing?
You know how it be, Mac. Living the dream, running at God's speed. How about yourself?
Just another day in paradise. Some days it feels like a nightmare, though, and today did kind of feel like a nightmare. It was a long day of baseball, long day of work, long day of everything.
Yeah, I feel you on that, man.
But you know what excites me, though? You know what excites me?
What excites you?
Being able to jump on here twice a week with you and just talk some baseball. That's what excites me.
You know, that's what honestly got me through the day today a little bit. Just the joy of sitting here in the loft, in the lab, and chat to my pal.
I
B
love
Mac.
it. How's the back doing? Because we're old, we're decrepit, our backs start going and stuff like that.
Dude, I wouldn't wish this crap upon my worst enemy. This stuff hurts bad. It's like all the way down to my toes. Like when I walk, it felt like the last 2 days I had stood in a puddle for about 45 minutes and then walked around. That's kind of the sensation that I had in my foot. It's nuts, but
Interesting.
I'll figure it out. We got to stretch a little bit more. We got to stim, but day by day. We're on the IL.
Don't take any what's it called, pointers from the Red Sox medical staff, because apparently they just let everybody go on the IL.
Yeah, they're gonna have to wait to do that open tryout until I am recovered and off. They gotta give me and you a fighting chance here,
I think at this point anybody has a fighting chance at an open trial for the Red Sox. I mean, if you have a glove and bring a bat, I think you're automatically on the team. This is like T-ball signups at this point.
Yeah, it's pretty close to it. Especially with us really starting off looking strong with 4 straight games without an error. Today with a whopping number of 2. I think if you come with a glove, whether that's a Wilson A750 that looks like it's been thrown through a whorehouse, or you bring a pancake as a glove, I think they're going to take you as long as you can field a ground ball or catch a pop-up.
If you get a pulse and 2 legs, you'll be fine.
Oh, 100%. Doesn't have to be an actual arm or leg. It can be prosthetic, I think, at this point.
Amen. And you know what? Every other dope in America right now is watching the NFL draft, and we're sitting here talking about the Red Sox.
Dude, I have a really good signing idea.
What do you got?
I think it fits really well with the philosophy and approach that Professor Bailey has cooked up in his laboratory. You remember that individual that had no arms who threw out the first pitch with his feet? And he threw a dart ski? I have a very strong
I vaguely remember that.
A very strong feeling that could play if
at the major league level.
Yeah, if Andrew Bailey can get a hold of him, I think great things could happen with that. And Lord knows we could use a workhorse like that gentleman in our starting rotation right now.
I would take anybody in our starting rotation, like just a person in the starting rotation, because at this point, as we know, it was news on Tuesday, I think, or something like that. Bello hit the 15-day injured list with a right lat issue, and that's never good because on average, I looked it up, it says somebody spends 50 days on the IL for something like that. Now, granted, Cora did say that it was for precautionary reasons. He felt it in Boston, the last home series, and then pitched to it in Pittsburgh, where obviously he pitched well, he got the win and whatnot. but you never like to hear something like that, especially with, somebody who's one of your, I mean, granted, everybody in the starting rotation is one of our better pitchers right now. But somebody that you were kind of relying on to quote unquote be a workhorse for you and whatnot. The hope, though, I guess, is that it is only for the minimal stay, but I don't know. We'll see.
I hope the 15 days of rest period is all he needs. I'm a little concerned with it being the lat. That's a large muscle group that is involved in the throw. And one of my buddies that I played college ball with for multiple years hurt that in our second year, and he never really felt 110% after that. He's expressed to me in the past. It takes a really long time to recover, especially if it is a severe one. Hopefully Bello's isn't severe and it's just tenderness and tightness and he can work through it and work out of it. But yeah, that light's yellow right now for me there. So I'm like at a 5, 6 out of 10 scared level.
What scares me is that, like, all this, as we know, I mean, the Sox literally have half, if not at this point, more than half their 26-man starting squad on the IL.
Yep.
And I think just what scares me the most is that, especially with some of our pitchers, but like especially Raffy and stuff like that, is that all this stuff has happened so early and just in like day after day, Casas obviously and whatnot, where it's like, what if some of these pitchers that they say can come back right away can't come back like right away, or they push it to come back, and next thing you know, they're and I feel like our bullpen, or I mean our starting rotation, our staff in general is a bunch of dogs. Like the only little whiny bitch I think we have is Kenley Jansen, to be 100% honest with you, despite how he looked out there today. Like he's the only one that I think is like, that would be like, you know what, my back's a little tight today. I don't think I can pitch. Everybody else, I think, would generally try to pitch through something or work through something if they could. And that makes me nervous considering the types of injuries, like Pavetta with the forearm, Whitlock with the calf. You have Bello with the right lat. You have Isaiah Campbell with the shoulder impingement. You just got all these like minor things that, like, I feel like if they're not taken care of, could turn into something bigger.
100%. And with where the Red Sox are at, their mindset more than likely is not, we need to get these guys back. The World Series ours right now. It's not the mindset. They're going to be very, very conservative here and keep them out as long as possible to ensure that they're okay long term, especially with the starts ahead.
I think that's probably the smart thing. Like, is this going to be a World Series season? No. I mean, yes, we're half game out of a wild card spot, but at the same time, too, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you know this, but we're 26 games into the season. There's a lot left. There's a lot.
Yes, indeed. If you go look at our injured list, it is overwhelming what you can do roster construction wise, like a lineup construction. It is a borderline playoff, like World Series, like battling out team. You have a solid closer right there in Liam Hendricks. You have our pretty much 75% of our starting rotation. You have a legitimate bullpen built up. You have a multiple all-star studded lineup right there. Just to name two, Trevor Story and Tristan Casas right there. I mean, oh my goodness, the luck that this group has had is just honestly the most predictable thing with the way our luck has gone the last couple of years as an organization. But
it really has.
There is positivity at the end of the tunnel. At least Vaughn's coming back this Tuesday, coming up when we're home here. That'll be really exciting to see, and Lord knows we can use another righty in the lineup and a little bit more positivity in that offense.
I think that it will come around. I mean, the positivity is not there today. Now, for our listeners, my wife's sick. I think she got me sick, so if you hear some coughing, sniffling, sneezing, trying to mute the mic there, I apologize. So the positivity is very tough to come by right now. But if there is a light at the end of this tunnel, and it'll probably be something that's mentioned either once a pod or once a week or once a month. But I do think by the end of this year, you see some of those Portland call-ups. I think Marcelo comes up this year at one point. Teal may even come up at some point this year. If Roman Anthony continues raking the way he is and who will be a consensus top 10 prospect next year, Like, there's a chance we could see him. I don't think there's a need to rush him, but you never know. And so you put a couple guys like that, you bring them up. You got Vaughn Grissom, you got Tyler O'Neill up here, you got Devers healthy, you got hopefully Tristan Casas healthy. Like, it gives you a little bit something to look forward to. And the most exciting part, though, too, is it's all over the diamond. Like, you're looking in the outfield, you're looking at first base, second base, third base endeavors. You're looking at Brian Bello in the starting rotation. You got Justin Slayton in the bullpen that is just
Bullpen.
carving and dicing people up right now.
Mm.
And we will get to more on him later this episode, I think, because I think he is just well
No
worth
doubt.
into.
I got another positive thing for you here. We just finished up
Hit me with
despite losing that series to Cleveland. We don't have to see them again. We only had to see them for 7 games this year. We were 5-7 against them. Whatever. Flush the toilet. We're all set. Don't have to deal with them again until potentially the playoffs if we're lucky enough to get there. But we just finished that road trip 4-2, despite Raffy missing 90% of it. We lost 2 of our best players, man, during that. A lot of adversity that had to be faced.
And we
O'Neill
had 32
played
hits in 3
last
games.
series. And O'Neill played only the last series, and he wasn't even at 110%. And that dictated our lineup issues a little bit with Massa on the bench. We'll get to that.
That we will. But no, it's been a crazy string of events that have led us to where we are, where a lot of people joke around that we're looking at a AAA lineup out there and stuff like that. And honestly, I tweeted this, but Cora, by the end of, it might have been game 1 too. I forgot to kind of jumble together. Might have been game 2, but even this game in the final game of the series literally looked like a 14U AAU travel baseball coach out there who, like, 3 kids missed a game because of hockey. Another 2 were like, oh, my tummy hurts, my arm hurts, I can't play today. And now he's down to literally like 9, 10 guys if he's lucky. And he's just looking at a dude who's a PL or something like that, or a kid who's never played a position. He goes, hey, Wong, you feel like playing first base today? And Wong's like, me? Coach, I've been telling you all year I could play first base. I know I'm only like 5'7", but I'm telling you, I could pick it over there. And he goes, fuck it. Let's go see what you got over there. Hey, Raffy, you want to go play third? You ever played third? Nah? Well, let's give it a shot today. Let's see what you can do over there. Hey, you feel like pitching? You ever thrown a ball before? Yeah, let's see what you got. Why not? And, like, let's just go have fun with it, boys. That's literally what he looked like out there, was a 14U travel baseball coach struggling.
Oh, yep. He was quoted that he wished he also could have like 3 DHs in an interview this week. And dude, that made me think, like, imagine if Alex Cora was an AAU coach at like the high school level. The amount of insanity he could do with a lineup with multiple DH slots. Oh my God. The destruction and amount of warfare he would put on the nation would be overwhelming.
Oh, without a doubt. And honestly, too, his creativity is what I think should not go unnoticed as a fan of baseball coaching, anything like that. But, like, his ability to sit there and look at his lineup and be like, okay, if this happens, we're doing this. If this happens, we're doing this. If this happens and we get all the way to this point, we do have a plan for it, but we don't want to go there, but we will go there. And then his ability to 100% what the whole game of baseball is about. Yes, at the end of the day, it's the team that can play catch the best, if you really want to simplify it. But adaptability in the game of baseball is huge, whether you're as a hitter, a pitcher, fielder, whatever it may be. But it shows at the coach level. If you have the ability to adapt, you
Absolutely. Alex Cora is a unique man, and it's rare that he messes up. But apparently he's messed up one time, and it's going to be magnified a ton. And it's this Masa Yoshida stuff that's been going on.
But I will say, to your point real quick right there, is I feel like you've probably heard this before, or at least have heard me say it from our coaching days together, but, like, there's a reason why we have the right fielder back up first base, right? Is so in case there's an over, like on a ground ball, nobody's on base, that type of scenario. Because if there's an overthrow and that one time you're not there to back it up, everyone will notice that one time. Nobody will notice the 999 other times that you've been there to back it up and there's never been an overthrow. But that one time you're not there to back it up, they will take notice to that. And I feel like that's the same thing, like you said, that one time that Cora goes to mess up because of something stupid, like today, leaving maybe Chase Anderson in a little bit too long to face Jose Ramirez. However, I do have some game notes on that pitch or that at bat, but little things like that. But sorry, just had to throw that out there.
And quite frankly, the stuff that he's being told that he's wrong for here with Masa Yoshida, I don't know if I see it in that light. I'm really on Cora's side, and I want to break that down real quick for us,
Hit me with it.
for everybody. So Alex was asked about this, and we got some quotes on it. He said there's no issue with Masataka Yoshida, who didn't play Sunday because they were facing a lefty and didn't play last night with O'Neill needing to DH in his comeback game, or because Raffy was at DH. Here's the quote regarding Masa Yoshida. He's an everyday DH, man. I don't know what the big deal is. O'Neill had to DH yesterday. Raffy had to DH today. He'll DH tomorrow. I don't get it. It just happens that Tyler O'Neill, came out of the IL and Raffy can't play third today. So he's not DHing. Our outfield is O'Neill, Abreu, and Duran. Yesterday and today, he was ready to play, but we can't play him. How do you see it? Shortly after, is quoted again saying, honestly, that one bothers me because it's very simple.
Hold on, wait. Before you get to that second part of that quote right there, just to justify you a little bit further here on Cora, is as a coach, okay, isn't your job to put the best lineup out there and the most likely win a baseball game?
Correct. That is correct.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Now, let me ask you this. If Devers can't...
Sounds good, Raffy. You're the best player offensively on our team. You're going to DH today if you don't feel like your body is healthy and ready enough to play third base defensively. We'll give you that day. All good. You're the best hitter on our team. Got you.
Amen. So now, Raffy's feeling good. He could play third base. But Tyler O'Neill comes back.
Mm-hmm.
Again, probably your best hitter on the team at this point, without Cassis gone, and just overall type hitter right now on the team, probably Tyler O'Neill. Not quite what coach I can hit.
You know what? Tyler O'Neill has been the hottest hitter, and I know he just got 7 stitches in his head, but he missed 2 days max on his day-to-day routine and got right back to hitting 2 days after he had the stitches to his head. We need his production to sustain for us to succeed in these games. He's DHing.
Okay.
No hezzy.
Now, that's the correct answer if you ask me. Now you look at Masa, who, don't get me wrong, we are both Masa defenders on this podcast. We love the guy. We feel for the guy. We feel like he has nobody on that team. I really hope that's not the case, but that's just how I viewed it that one day at the ballpark. Now you look at Masa and you say, listen, Devers can't play the field, but he can hit. He's going to hit today. Do you think Masa's the type of guy that's going to sit there and say anything other than, yes, coach, I understand?
Team needs first all day. That man is not going to be disrespectful. It's not in the culture.
I would think so. But like at the same time too, I can see it from his point of view though, of like being like, what the hell's a man got to do to get in that bat around here? But at the same time too, to my whole point, you're going to put the best lineup out there that you can. Devers can't field, but he can hit. He's one of your better hitters. He's going to DH. Same thing for Tyler O'Neill. Yoshida's on the opposite end of that. Yoshi can't play the field. I mean, he can, but obviously it's not. It's like sticking JD Martinez out there apparently to a lot of stat casts and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So you're not great in the field, and defense is one of our biggest issues right now. You're getting there with the bat, but you haven't like done anything that's eye-popping right now. So obviously, we are going to go this route right now. I don't think it's anything. My whole point of this is I don't think that it's anything personal to Masa. I don't think Cora hates Masa. I don't think Boston hates Masa. I don't think there's anything organizationally, systemically wrong with Masa in this organization. It just happened to pan out that we are dealing with a ton of injuries and trying to avoid injuries by moving DHs around. But this is also Cora's point too, and this is brought to you by freaking Max Tangents. But Cora loved having the ability to move the DH spot around to give guys days off. So when you have a single DH who can only hit, who right now is only mediocre at that compared to other guys.
Alex Cora then said later on, and quoted, "Honestly, that one bothers me because it's very simple. If you look at the lineup and where we're at roster-wise, I cannot have 2 DHs. I wish I had 3. Sorry about that. That one, I don't know the angle or what we're trying to accomplish here. But for me, I'm very fair with you guys as far as being honest and letting you guys know what's happening in the clubhouse. And that one, it's throwing me off, to be honest with you. You guys want it both frickin' ways. I don't get it. I'm on Alex's side. Everybody's been bitching and moaning about the defense, us included. So why the hell would we have Masa Yoshida in the outfield? Wouldn't you rather O'Neill defensively out there, or Rob and Abreu and Jarren Duran over Masa Yoshida? I mean, unless if one of those outfielders is batting below average, like below 200 for a decent period of time, like 5 straight games, that's the only time that I would be like, all right, I'll sacrifice the defense a little bit and put Masa Yoshida in left field at home. A, to give him some at-bats, but B, to try and like beef up that offense a little bit and create a little bit more of a spark. It's just a tricky player to plug and play and use. And man, I love Masa, but he doesn't fit here right now, it looks like, and it's unfortunate.
He doesn't. And honestly, if there's any Alex Cora.
Yeah.
But with what you just said right there, with his quote of like, I don't know what you guys are trying to make something out of this, like what angle you're trying to take. Like, I've always been pretty honest with you, all this stuff. All this is, and we've mentioned this before, is Boston media trying to make a story out of nothing. Like, they're seeing
this is the type of shit that drives people out, and you're doing it to one of the better managers that we've had in our lifetime.
It is. And you know what, though? I love how he called him out for it. Like, I'm pretty honest with you about it.
He's got cojones, papi. Cojones.
That's what he's got. But, all right. Like,
we got to see what happens a little bit longer. I'll again use the checkpoint that we've used numerous times after that Washington Nationals series, and I'll give you my final decision on that. But as of right now, no. But I really don't think any team's going to want him, so I think we might be stuck with him.
I concur with that sentiment there about no team wanting him. We might be stuck with him. But I think what's tough pill for like fans to swallow and media to swallow is we're struggling with all these injuries, yet we have a perfectly healthy guy just sitting on the bench that can do one thing decently well. And I think that's what a lot of people are struggling with. Who knows? I mean, maybe we find a trade partner for him one day. I hope not. I really want to see him flourish here, but at the same time too, I truly want what's best for Masa at this point.
Yeah.
And if it's somewhere else where he can go play every day, flourish, whatever, like I feel like he would thrive in like one of those teams that is not doing that great right now. And he could just truly just play every day, whether it's like, say, the Nationals, the White Sox, who literally might win 40 games this year. Like something like that, where like we could eat a chunk of that contract, maybe get a BS prospect back that like could help us, could not. Like let's let Kyle Bodie, Craig, and everybody sit there and cook up and find something.
Yeah, no, it's not really realistic. We'd have to eat a good chunk of it, but crazier things have happened.
That they have. All right. Now, to get into this Guardian series, we're not going to dive too. I think frustrating thing about it is, and this is literally the story of the season, I feel like, is a lot of like the 2 that we lost were winnable games. And so, for instance, we lost 1-4 Friday with Houck on the mound. First, Houck looks as confident as ever out on the mound. Willier's a beast, starting to love him. Not even like starting to. I clearly had some love for him before, but I was kind of like at one point ready to first week of the season. I'm a big believer in Willier right here now. This note changed over the course of this series right here, but we can't keep relying on the home run ball. We need to get on base more. And I think that's a big topic for this team is we have one of the lowest averages in the league. We strike out at a very, very high clip, but we hit home runs, where it's like that modern day baseball player. And it starts with, I think, obviously the top of the order, but I really think this starts with Ceddanne Rafaela and being able to change his approach as a hitter and get on base more. Utilize what you do best in the game, and that's use the ball and play some defense. But I'm going to get to. Did you watch the first game? I'm assuming.
Yes, I did.
Did you see the play where Wong got picked off at first base?
Yes.
Were you on Twitter at all after that? Okay. People were lighting up Connor Wong for this play. Like, everybody. Oh, freaking the base running on this team has been terrible. Wong, what are we doing there? Oh, my God. Like, how do you get thrown out in this scenario? Wong, you suck. This team sucks at base running. Let me break something down for you as a coach that genuinely invested way more time than I ever needed to in base running at a lot of my practices. Granted, we were very good base running teams, but I wrote in this note, I love the aggressiveness by Wong. Okay. Let me break down the situation for you here. You got to run around first base. You have a lefty up to bat, and you now have a ball in the dirt. Now, this was also a ball that crossed Paul Fry's body. So he had to come across his body with the glove. Wong takes an aggressive secondary, reading downward action or the fact that this is going to get away from Paul Fry. So he's looking for a dirt ball read, takes an aggressive secondary. Paul Fry makes an unbelievable backhand grab at this, picks the ball from the dirt. Wong at this point, thinking, because probably 9 out of 10 times this ball is going to get by a catcher, he now takes an aggressive secondary, about to take off, then realizes the ball doesn't get away and goes to get back. Paul Fry had to make an absolutely perfect pick and a perfect back pick to first base with a lefty up to get Wong out. So excuse me for Wong getting thrown out there, but let me tell you, I do not fully agree that that is Wong's fault and he deserves all the blame. This team has been very aggressive on the bases all year round. Huddy talked about it in spring training about this team's athleticism and ability to run the bases. And I'll tell you right now, I would rather get thrown out on a dirt ball read all day on something like that than not even bother trying it, because I guarantee those same people that sit there and yelled at Wong for getting picked off would sit there and be like, Wong, how we not halfway to third base on a ball like that in case he gets by him? They would be the same people tweeting something like that. So I'm going to tell you right now, not okay with me to go pick on Connor Wong for that play when Paul Fry's the one who made it.
Couldn't agree more, and that's an incredible breakdown by you. You do that play and run that back 99 more times. He ain't making that play no more than 10 total out of those hundo. Connor Wong made the right read. Just tip the cap. It was an incredible defensive play.
Exactly. Now let me ask you this.
He has the most gear on out of any player. What's that position called?
Played there. Did they wear gear there? No.
No. The guy that threw him out and did the pick. He plays.
Oh, first base.
No, he's the guy that catches it, but it's not the way that you're thinking. It's from the pitcher.
Catcher. That's it. I've heard of it. I've seen dudes before in that stuff. That's right.
Darn it.
So Connor Wong plays the position of catcher.
You don't think there's
there's the guy with the gear who catches the ball on a regular basis. That is called a T. Catcher.
CATCKER. Perfect.
Yeah. Catcher.
Equals catcher.
The catcher.
That up.
But in all seriousness, so Wong plays catcher. You don't think that he reads a ball in the dirt like that and knows how hard of a play that is to make as a catcher? So again, we're getting mad at the wrong people for the wrong reasons here. And I just want to bring up this side note since we're talking about base running here. In the last series against the Pirates, Huddy sent 2 guys that got thrown out. There was Bob's first hit, and Rob Refsnyder got thrown out at the plate. And then Bob ended up getting thrown out at the plate at one point. Again, just want to emphasize here, I understand we're at the major league level, but Huddy absolutely made the right call sending those runners because, again, an outfielder has to make a perfect throw. A relay, whether you're second base, shortstop, first base, whoever's making that relay, has to literally anticipate that throw, catch it, turn, and make the throw to the catcher perfectly. That is what we call a pressure play. You are now forcing the defense to make a play by applying that pressure. Kudos, tip of the cap to the Pittsburgh Pirates for making those plays. So for all the base running plunders that we've had, and don't get me wrong, we've had quite a few of them that are inexcusable with some of the pickoffs that we've had. Some of the stolen base attempts that were just poor, like Tristan Cass is trying to go to third. Like we have done stupid stuff. The stuff that we are criticizing them for, though, on these back picks, the sending the runners, does not.
That you could, and I could listen to it all day because you always learn something new, and you're always so passionate about it, my friend.
I love it. It's literally the separator. It generally is the biggest separator between talent because on paper you could have two perfectly lined up and matched up teams with pitching, hitting, and defense. But if one can't run the bases and one knows how to do it aggressively smart, they automatically have the upper hand because when you start battling for that extra 90 feet with dirtball reads, you start timing up pitchers with new school leads or whatever it may be and stealing that extra base. You start being Jan Duran out of the box, turning a single into a double. Those are the things that win baseball games. Those are the things that not great teams do on paper, but have like good players, high baseball IQ. That's what it comes down to. And that's what I'm really hoping this year is going to be, is a developmental year for a lot of these players that are going to stick around for a long time to come, to pick up on a lot of these developmental aspects of base running, aggressiveness, just things like that are going to help them carry them in 2026. Okay.
I can see it on them. They're going to figure it out.
Yep. So a couple of these other notes we've already talked about. This is just from game one. What does everyone have against Massa? Cora coach like 14U, all this stuff. Now, this struck me with Esteban Florial up to bat, right? Now, if you look at him, he kind of looks like, it's weird saying the word mini with him, but a mini Yordan Alvarez when he's up to bat. Like, he's a bigger dude, right? So picture him up to bat and then picture, like, say, Jose Altuve up to bat. Okay?
Yeah.
Big strike zone difference there. Do you think the strike zone we see on TV is a preset strike zone no matter what the size of the hitter is? So like we are just seeing it on there and something may look like so automatically we think it's a strike if it's in that little box. But if you have Esteban Florial up, he's a bigger dude. So say it is a preset one, then that strike zone now may be actually smaller than it actually is. But say you got Jose Altuve.
I distinctly remember seeing certain broadcasts, certain networks changing the parameters of that strike zone box. I don't think the one on Nesson specifically does. I haven't noticed it, but I also haven't been like on the lookout, on the prowl. I will be now, and we'll have an answer next pod for you.
Love it. I love it. I actually thought you were just going to hit me the size there.
I'd love to know. If anybody just wants to tell us the answer, that'd be great.
Right? That's what I'm saying. But that was such a thought that crossed my mind a little bit looking at that. Because I was like, I feel like on Nesson, it just didn't change even remotely. And that's where I was like, I wonder if that actually happens. All right, game 2. We got a blowout. We have in Cleveland against Carlos Carrasco. Also, Tanner Houck suffered the loss in game 1. He did pitch great. He had let up one earned run before getting taken out, and then an inherited runner came in to score. Tough luck for him, but he did a potential ace here.
Can't really say it's been a small sample size anymore.
Can't say that it has.
Nope.
Let me tell you. Game 2, Cooper Criswell on the mound versus Carlos Carrasco. Coop actually did pretty well. I'm not gonna lie. 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, 5 Ks. Like he did a very good job of limiting damage, and that's one thing that I feel like you, out of all people, should be a big Cooper Criswell fan, considering you were. Don't take this personally. I love you. A soft toss and lefty that had to put some zip on some shit. He had to lick his little fingers, put a little spin on the ball, get it to do a little doohickey, some curvy, some slide pieces in their little change piece. You know what I'm saying? So you had to make stuff move. And Coop does with balls. man, they're
His
good
balls.
balls.
His balls are great. They're consistent. His
Mm-hmm.
balls are always ready to go in any sort of
Always.
situation. They can open, they can close, they can relieve duty.
And like, I think the opening part, but 8-4 in that moment.
Without a doubt. And they always finish.
Oh, they always finish. Sometimes they may, finish a little outside. They may finish a little inside.
Yep.
It
They'll
really
always
depends on the day with him. But I will tell you now too, he's quick with his finish. Like
He is.
he gets it with
He's not shy about it. You
no.
can't really knock a man for having some swift efficiency that is consistent. And that's exactly what Cooper provides at the table. But no, he shoved. He brought down the whole entire starting rotation staff ERA down for the year here, including his own personal. But I don't think he's too concerned about his personal shit. I think he's really, just like we talked about a couple pods ago with Criswell, is that he's going to do whatever it takes to help out this team succeed and be at its ceiling. And he was already doing that as a reliever, and now he's doing that as a starter, and he's going to have to do this whole starting role for probably a month. He's probably going to have at least 4 starts here in the next couple of legs through, and I'm really excited for it. I think this can be a really good opportunity for him to make a bigger name for himself within this organization and in the league.
I do too, because I think he fits the Bailey profile very well in the sense of he's very clearly not going to overpower you with his stuff. So like he needs to rely on his movement and his location of pitches. And I think this is a Professor Bailey's laboratory special right here, because this is a guy where you can sit there and be like, we are going to freaking hammer
all day long. He is a really good ad in this entire, Bailey's laboratory piece, and fits extremely well. You want to know why? I'll tell you why. You've noticed that most of this Red Sox pitching staff has shied away from throwing straight pitches, being the fastball, 4-seam specifically. The most mind-blowing stat I've seen on the season here so far has been looking at what teams have thrown the most and least 4-seam fastballs to date. And the leading team in the MLB is the Washington Nationals with 1,424 fastballs thrown on the year. The Red Sox are least with over 1,000 less, Mac. Yeah, 1,000 less. They've only thrown 389 4-seam fastballs. Cooper Criswell is not the hardest throwing guy in the world. And he doesn't even have a 4-seam fastball in his repertoire. He throws a sinker, a cutter, a very good changeup, and he has that sweep, Johnny, and he has a slider.
In fairness, Bailey has.
Yeah, it's like, how there was that sign up in spring training that nobody cares how hard you throw a ball for. He has fastballs, the word fastball, written out on a piece of paper, and then it's circled with the X on it. It's like a team rule. If you throw a fastball, you are cut and sent to the Mexican Baseball League forever. You are shunned.
First off, don't knock the Mexican Baseball League. My buddy, shout out Steven Moyers, pitches for the Rojos Dragons, something like that. But let me tell you, they're legit down there. They have a lot of fun. But I do have a question for you before you give me some more little juicy stats there. So I was listening to the broadcast today, and Will Middlebrooks was on the broadcast, and he brought her booster shot. Sorry, dog's
your dog
sprinting in here. That was kind of sketchy. Get out of here. Booze Hound, he succeeded in the minors with I think the stats were something like 15 innings pitched, 29 Ks, something like that, or 28 Ks, something along those lines. And I want to know what those K percentages were and what pitches they were on and what pitches he used most, because he's thrown a ton of off-speed pitches since coming up here, as is the philosophy of Andrew Bailey and this pitching staff. And I heard Will Middlebrooks sit there and be like, we're sitting there, we're throwing a lot of off-speeds right now. This dude's got 97 in the tank. Why don't we get ahead with that and then bury down into the off-speed? And I feel like, I know this is probably not the case, but as we've talked about before, coaching, one thing may work for somebody, may not work for somebody else type thing. I don't know if Bailey's got to be able to look at certain players, like Booser, for instance, who's never pitched in the majors up into this year, and be like, what do you feel comfortable with? And him just sit there and be like, I want to throw a fucking heater. And him just sit there and be like, all right, but you're going to throw an off-speed pitch when I tell you to, or when your catcher tells you to, you're going to throw it. But like just a little, I think, give and take there. Again, I have no idea what it's like in that clubhouse. He very well could have the best relationship with every one of these guys, and they could be telling him like, hey, I want to whip this sweeper out there all day, every day. But again, Boozer's got 97 in the tank. Like, why not use that a little bit more?
Yeah, no doubt. I think they're getting a little slider happy with him specifically in it. The word cookie cutter, I don't want to use it here, but we'll see if we end up having to use it, because I don't know if working backwards is the route with a guy that has the stuff as Booze Hound. I don't know. If I would use him in that fashion, I think I would attack with that mean handlebar fueled fastball and use that slider late.
Like, he looks like a lunatic on the mound. Like, I'm not saying he is. He could be one of the nicest guys in the absolute world. But again, he looks like a guy who should be wearing a cut on a motorcycle or a Harley Davidson with an absolute heater hanging out of his mouth. Like, let the dude sit up there. That's what I'm saying. Like, sitting there and just sit on the mound, like, stare at a dude. Just stare at a dude and just tell him, I'm going to give you my best fucking pitch right here. And guess what? I'm going to throw it right here, and you ain't going to hit it. Like, out of him.
We need it. If they got a plus graded fastball and it's a 4-seam, it's okay to throw it. The guys that you have been taking it away from for the majority have average or slightly below average 4-seams. Made sense with those guys. I don't know if it makes sense for Boo Sound just yet.
Yeah,
but
back to...
He's the one making all that money, and the one with the Red Sox. We'll trust him.
Exactly. We will. And I'm sure things will work out. Back to game 2. It's an 8-0 win. It's a bloodbath. Again, Cooper Criswell, 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, 3 Ks. Joely comes in relief, 2 innings pitched, 1 hit, 1 K. We're going to get to this next guy in a minute. Jarren Duran's kind of struggles. His struggles continue. Before this, or at the point of this game, he was 0 for his last 13. After this game, he went 0 for 5 with 2 Ks. Devers, though, returned to the lineup, 3 hits and 4 at-bats, 2 RBIs, home run, also hit a double and a single. The kid was just on fire. He did look a little limp getting out of the box. After, not limp, I should say, but like definitely taking it easy, kind of dogging it down the line, as is freaking nice to see him take that time off and do what he did.
Espanol, badly.
I can't wait to talk about game 3. Speaking of which, Connor Wong goes 4 for 4 with 2, not just 1, 2 bombs. First one, right? Absolutely seed to center field. Low hit, just took off. Second at bat, majestic. He just hit this thing and just watched it watched it go out. He stared at that thing going out, and it was I got to get that.
Nothing better than a Wong Dong.
Little
2 Wong Dongs are.
What's better than 1 Wong Dong? I still can't do that.
Double penny.
Bob gets a hit. That was exciting, and I tweeted, "Do not let Bob get hit today." Might have been an infield single, but it was still a fucking hit.
Reason to happen. Don't let
Little
Bobby
Raffy. Little Raffy had 2 hits in this game too, with an RBI as well. Just want to throw it out there. Trotta's been calling this kid Little Raffy forever. Let me ask this: where did the nickname stem from? Because when you like,
well, number 1, Rafael Devers is going to be Big Raffy here. He's normal Raffy, and the name Rafaela, Raffy, that's where that comes from. Now, I'm a big Mario fan.
oh,
Yep. And now I'm a big Mario fan. Now, I think the word baby is degrading, and I don't want to call Rafaela a baby. So I don't really want to call him Baby Rafaela like Baby Bowser to normal Bowser. So that's instead like a harder name, a harder little beginning of it, like Lil Wayne. We're going, is the Baby Bowser to Raffy's Bowser here in this comparison and in this nickname creation.
That makes a lot more sense when you mention it, because it's been dawning on me, because again, you've been calling him since like the off season, since episode 1 on this stuff, and I'm like trying to figure out like what is the correlation here, because like I see them, and also remember we said this in previous pods, I need my moment where I see them together talking and stuff like that to get that mentorship.
Hey man, last thing I want to say about this is when you would play Mario Superstar Baseball back in the day as a little B-Mac and little Trotty, the most terrorizing 1-2 punch in the game was Baby Bowser followed by Bowser. That was the toughest thing to defeat and get out in that game. I can't wait to see it in real life with little Raffy and Raffy. It's going to be a freaking movie. And we're not talking about a Blue Jays one.
I like that. I like that a lot. I will say this. I have a lot to say about little Raffy, and you know what? I might as well just bring it up right now real quick. You know what I love? Beginning of this, you and I not feeling odd. This very well could be another 40 minutes. We have no idea. We're already 50 minutes into this. Little Raffy needs to figure it out a little bit. And what I mean by that is I'm going to touch upon his defense in some of my notes. Actually, I'll probably just skip over and mention the notes now. A lot of people bitched about him moving to shortstop because, we have an elite center fielder. Like, why are we just going to be paying him to play center field? Why are we going to have him play shortstop? And it's like, because that's what the team's needs are right now. And he can actually, newsflash, play shortstop. So stop bitching at this point. He's for Bob, but unfortunately, he plays a hitting position. But
yep, that he does.
But Raffy, okay, I don't really care what I get out of his bat. Now, are there some changes I would like to be seen made? Yes. One of them being, I think he needs to take the Anthony Volpe approach. I think we might have talked about this last pod, or I mentioned him one of these pods, but guy who batted 197, hit 20 home runs last year, stole 19 bases. But he was struggling because he was way too underneath the ball, way too trying to become a fly ball hitter, and all that jazz. And it was not working out for him. This year, he flattened out his swing. He gets the pitch in the top of the zone much better. So instead of dumping his barrel early and trying to get underneath that, he's staying more flat and level for a better line drive rate. Raffy, on the other hand, where do I have the stats here? He's hitting more fly balls than he ever has in his career, and not just a small sample size, but by like a long shot. I didn't write down the exact stats. I wish I had them in front of me, but I'm pretty sure he's hitting fly balls at a 47% clip, or his career average is a 37% clip, including all minor leagues. His line drive percentage is down, and his ground ball percentage is down. And his average launch angle went from 8.9 last year to 16.6 this year. And the whole difference between this, and we can kind of see it at the plate with him, is I feel like he is pressing to make something happen with the bat, where he does not need to do that. He needs to make something happen by just putting the ball in play and just run with it. And I'm not saying like the old adage, like we still want to try to hit the ball hard. I am fine with that. But let's take in situational hitting to account. Secondly, he is seeing a ton of sinkers that he is struggling with and a ton of sliders that he is struggling with. The fastball he's hitting, okay, he's batting only 250 against it this year. But he's swinging a ton out of the zone, and he's making contact a ton out of the zone too, which is never good. So long story short, I need to see him completely take a different approach at the plate as a hitter. And I want to see him like a whole philosophical change for him as a hitter. And literally just want to see him not become a home run hitter, but a table setter. Because I do think, like you said, what's better than playing Mario baseball with Bowser or Baby Bowser and then Bowser up next? Nothing. So you put Lil Raffy and Raffy back to back at one point. That's the future of your lineup right there. I would love to see that, but he's got to get to that point.
Yeah, me too. I'll take the defense. I would like him to hit for a little bit higher of an average in OBP, but I think we'll get there. I would consider the amount of games that we've played offensively to still be a decently small sample size to critique little Raffy to a crazy level. Still really young in really early on in the year.
I will comp him to Jaron Duran because when Jaron Duran's like a minor leaguer, right? He started hitting home
Yep.
runs, and I think it was actually KB's first year having or when the Woo Sox first came to like Worcester. Jaron Duran came up, and I think he had a 21 home run season in Worcester and was doing stuff. And then he tried to come to the majors, and that didn't play at that level. And what did we see last year? Jaron Duran made changes to not be the home run hitter, become a line drive hitter, a table setter, and those changes really seem to have worked well for him. Last year, Raffy gets called up to AAA. I think he hits like 13 home runs in his 46 games played there or something like that, something ridiculous. And I don't know if that gave him a new like found sense of like confidence or like, yeah, I could be a home run hitter. You know what I mean? So he may need this year to struggle to realize Raphael.
I like that humble down, growthier approach right there. I think it'll be great for him.
I do too. Now enough about hitters because I don't want to bore you. Zach Kelly's the other guy I want to talk about. In this 8-0 win, he came in, pitched 2 innings, struck out 3. He is the guy that is replacing Bello on the going on the injured list. He's the guy placing him on the roster right now, taking his roster spot. What's your take on him? Because our farm director, Kevin Barnaby of the Nor'easters Baseball, but also farm director.
Love me my lefties, man. I'll take all of them. Penn needs it. It's a lefty, right? Oh, fuck. Oops.
All right, so you know what? I don't even care about what your opinion is on Zach Kelly anymore.
We're going to cut that. We're going to cut that. I thought he was a lefty. He's not a lefty?
I'm sure he's a righty.
I'm an idiot.
Yeah, he's a righty, my friend.
Oopsies.
But farm director Kevin Barnaby has been a big fan of Zach Kelly. Says he's got a heavy fastball.
Yep.
And it rides a lot. It gets on hitters pretty quickly there. And watching him pitch, he's got a little bit of a funky delivery to him, but his stuff moves pretty well. I think he's going to be a key piece to this rotation for the rest, or to this bullpen for the rest of the year. Whether he's a swing man that kind of is that next guy up who kind of keeps getting called up as they move guys in and out or whatever.
So based on that take, I would assume you think that he would last longer than Booze Hound at the Major League Baseball level.
I outlast Joely Rodriguez at the Major League level. However, the only issue is that Booze Hound has options where Joely doesn't. Let's put Booze back down. Like if we're really thinking roster construction here.
Very similar Brennan Bernardino situation.
Yeah, exactly. So like I would think that he could outlast Joely in this Rodriguez, and I would rather have a guy like a Booze Hound with his type of story in there with our 2 lefties and then ride that out.
I would too.
But I think he'll be a key piece. Let's see. What do we got? Notes for game 2? Anything great? We have a polarizing offense. However, it didn't really show that. Like, it showed it, but it didn't this series. Like, we had just left a ton of guys left on base. However, that's a good sign because that means that we were getting on base instead of striking out. So it's a lot of give and take with, like, that type of thing. I did say a thing like, where's Massa? I did kind of think the Red Sox were little bitches. New England baseball, when did we get so soft? We're all wearing the frickin', the neck pieces, the scarves, the warmers, all this stuff. And it's like, dude, we play in New England, in Boston. Like, I get it. It's a little fucking dugout. We don't need to dress up like we're about to go rob a 7-Eleven with a goddamn water gun.
Grow a pair, would you?
Yeah, like, all he wore was a little turtleneck and long sleeves out there.
Coop's balls are always warm.
Coop, too? Coop
What about it, Strashy?
Coop got the good stash.
Oh, yeah.
This obviously negates this game, but this is game 2. We're playing our best defense down half the team. Then I tweeted, do not let Bob, get immediate. Next one after that was, oh, Bob. Because if you remember, Bob hit a single, got on base. And then I think it was Raffy, little Raffy was behind. Sedaine hits a ball to right field, and it drops. Bob gets a terrible read on it, gets thrown out of second base. Now little Raffy loses, and just not a great read. And that's where it went from don't let Bob get hot to, oh, Bob.
But 2 games in
That's
a row.
happened so much.
Two games in a row.
He's heating up. Can I just say something about Bob? I feel like I've said it before.
Hey, the floor's yours.
He's done it before.
Mm-hmm.
Just let the guy, he's playing impeccable defense for us right now at first base and at third base, something that we have been lacking. And yet everybody's going to criticize him for his bat. Again, I get it. He plays a position where you were supposed to have a bat. I understand that. The dude has demonstrated before that he can hit and mash at the major league level. He hit 25 home runs in 2021. He hit 31 home runs in Worcester last year. Just get off Bob's back. Let him play fucking baseball. And I think that this is a point, too, now where we may see the best of Bob to some extent because he doesn't have to worry about a starting position at least for another week right now. He can go in there every day and go swing the bat and try to prove that, hey, you don't got to...
Bit of a long shot, but I'll hold on for the ride. I'll hold on.
I did get excited. I tweeted Wilgier might be the best player on this team. And then I said I lied. Wong might be too. I don't know. Too tough to tell. Do we have a Manny and David Ortiz reincarnated? Just because that was Wong's 2 home run game. Willier hit a bomb. They're hitting. And then I said bloodbath after that. This was a frustrating game. Did you watch this one?
No, I had to go to high school practice there. Redmond, maybe. It's Redmond season. Yes, it's Red Sox season, but the boys have pracky. Gotta get ready for the game.
Little beach nut in there?
Beach what?
I don't know. You said it's beach nut.
Oh, you're thinking the tobacco.
The chew, the tobacco.
No, the high school that
Look, you said that, and my mouth started watering, and I need to
go put it in Zimbabwe and go for
no
it.
free ads, but way better than dipping.
Are you an up deck guy, or are you a little Shelby? Yeah, I'm an Anne Frank guy as well. You got to put her up there. But yeah, we're one of the very few high schools around that still has a chief or an Indian Native American as the logo. It's pretty gritty. It's pretty sweet. But
That'll change.
I didn't watch the game because of the old Redmond High School baseball Stallions.
Fair enough. All right, so 4-6 loss. Chase Anderson got the loss. It let up 5 runs in. Let me bring it up just very, very briefly. This was like the dagger, to be 100% honest with you, was Chase Anderson. 1.2 innings pitched. 3 hits, 5 runs, 5 earned, 3 walks, 0 Ks. Threw like 60 pitches or something like that, or 50 pitches. And obviously, Cord, he walked the bases loaded pretty much, let up a hit and like 2 walks. And Cord left him in to face Jose Ramirez. And actually, I'm going to get to that because I have notes on it. So some of my notes from this game, Willier should be the 2 or 5 hitter some way when everyone is healthy. I feel like he's a perfect 2 to 5 hitter. But even if you put him at the bottom of the order, get on base, and I love his aggressive.
Yes, his decisions are fantastic.
Swing decision. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Mary talked about Devers dogging it. So there were no fans at the field today. This is one of my favorite notes, and I was listening to this. So I was at work, keep in mind, and on Thursdays, not many people are in the office. I got one girl who sits behind me, one who sits ahead of me, and I'm sitting there, and I got my headphones in, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like jumping up because I think a home run or something like that happens. I'm like, that's a pitch clock violation. I'm doing all these things, and I'll turn around and be like, my bad. But I have my AirPods in, so I can hear clear as day. So there's no fans at this game. There's 16,000 fans. They're all spread out. And all you hear is chirping back and forth, but it's Spanish. All you hear is Spanish, hola, orque grande. And they're just screaming go Bob, little things like that, but it's definitely in a Spanish accent. And it is 100% Raffy who's doing it. Because if you hear, he's got to be the loudest voice. And it was only when the Red Sox were hitting. And I want you to go back and listen to the Red Sox. If you watch this game, listen to when the Red Sox were hitting the first few innings. Because then we went down 5-0, and he was a little bit more quiet after that. But Bob would do something, right? He would fight off a pitch, and he'd be like, "Attaboy, Bob!" Like, and I'm like, I think this fucker's lying to us and actually does know English, just chooses to speak Spanish. Because, like, he was just sitting there chirping, like, cheering everybody on. Like, they would throw a ball in the dirt and he'd be like, no. I can put that voice too.
Me saying Espanol, papi, triggered that at all?
It might have, but I also did make a note.
You had a note? That's coincidental.
That is very coincidental how that has happened. Now, I want to ask you this. Do you think in a major league game they chirp like they do at the college or high school level? And just to give you, and I know you know this because you coached the high school level, we've chirped a lot, but like when I coached high school at one point, the head coach told our team, anytime somebody picks over to first base, we're going to yell out something like green eggs and ham, good night moon, everybody poops, because guess what? It was an easy read, baby. And so every time somebody would pick over, you would hear green eggs and ham, Dr. Seuss, everybody poops. Like, and like you would just hear 5 children's books be yelled out. And they had no idea what they were doing. Like what the other team had no idea what we were doing. And I'm over there at first base just dying.
I don't think it happens every single day, every single game. Depends on the matchup, depends on the time of year, depends on the stakes. But without a doubt, man, these are the most competitive individuals on the planet for the most part, taking Anthony Rendon out of this equation and statement. But these guys are competitive ass dogs. I don't think it would be professional baseball without the chirping. I think we don't hear it in those big elements, and when they do, because it's loud, and it's normally when the stage is set, the fans are all loud, and it's packed, sold out crowd. That's when you see it. I don't think you're seeing it with like 10,000 fans there, and it's nice and quiet. Game 26 of the year.
But see, that's where I think. I mean, to a certain extent, I think you see it more because you can hear it more because the mics pick them up. Yeah. Because it's so quiet in there. And like I said, like there's definitely dudes on the Cleveland side that you could hear, like, and they were just like spouting stuff in Spanish, and I loved it. And then they had the Sox dugout where I want you to listen to this and tell me if you think it's Raffy as well. But you could not shut him up. It was I was sitting there dying laughing, just like but like just in Raffy's voice, like it was the funniest thing. Like
I can see him being the most talkative guy in that dugout too, just with the personality.
But he also too like was the biggest supporter of only like certain dudes,
specifically like Bob.
Like specific,
kind of like a kid. Bob's the kid right now on the team in the lineup on the roster that like is on your like 12U team, and he hasn't had a hit all year, and it's like the last game, and everybody knows it. The parents know it. Your teammates know it, and he just is battling like a 10-pitch AB. He's already worked a quabi, and you are just trying to will his first hit along, and you will cheer on a hard take on the outside corner to make it full count right now. You will make
the other pitchers just,
and this kid just the pitcher finds the barrel and it goes right up the middle for like a bleeding ground ball base hit, maybe a little flare, and just the parents treat it like it is just walk-off Game 7 of the World Series vibes. The kids go nuts. The coaches lose it a little extra on it. I think that's more what Raffy's doing with Bob right now, giving him a little extra love and support. The cops will be called for nudity in my condominium complex, but it's okay. We will ride on.
Call me crazy. You're hearing it now. He's hitting a home run tomorrow.
Lou Merlone was one day early. He'll go yabba tomorrow.
He actually did. Lou did call that, but he hit a foul ball home run, Bob. It was Oppo Field. But tomorrow, I know we haven't gotten the series look ahead, so I'll talk about it when we get there. He hits a home run tomorrow. Next note, Bob, good at field.
Yes,
good at catch. He good at catch, good at field. And he's a big reason why this defense is playing the way that is. Don't get me wrong. Moving Sedane over to short, little Raffy over to short has been big, but Bob cannot go unnoticed with the defense that he's played at first base. There was a certain play today where Andres Jimenez was at bat with a runner on first base, less than 2 outs. And Andres Jimenez, for those of you who don't know, is a lefty. Now, when you're holding at first base, typically there's a thing that you want to do, and it's called off easy. So either you'll hear a coach yell it, but especially at this level, you should know it, where with a lefty up, you're going to get off the bag kind of easy instead of hard shuffle over a pace or two with a lefty up. So you're only going to take a step or two off the bag. So contact gets made. It's a soft chopper to first base. It looks like it's going foul. Bob cuts it off before it goes foul, gets it fair, throws it down to second base for the out at second, gets back to first base. Jimenez didn't even run down the line because he thought it was going to be foul. And that's just Bob taking a high IQ play off easy, stepping to that ball before he can get foul and turning into that, where the Moneyball quote, how can you not be romantic about baseball?
Absolutely.
And that's the thing. When we first started this whole thing of deciding, hey, let's start a podcast, is I used to look at the game in such a coaching perspective and look for those little things. And that kind of shied away starting the podcast because like I was just kind of looking at it from a fan perspective, which is fun too, watching it from a fan perspective, obviously. But once you start to put like your coach, the little intricacies of things, the game just becomes much more beautiful.
Much more poetic.
Much more poetic. And one thing for our younger listeners out there, whether you're in high school, college, whatever it may be, there's the old adage that the game speeds up when you get older in every aspect of the game. The pitches get faster, the ball gets hit harder, runners get faster, the diamond gets bigger and stuff like that. The players that can slow down the game are the ones that you're typically going to see succeed, but especially at the major league level now with that pitch clock, watching that as a coach, it is so tough to try to pick up on little things because especially with, say, Cooper Criswell on the mound, who literally we talked about how he likes to just get the ball and go. Like, it's tough to try to pick up on those little things when the game just speeds up on you that much quicker. So being able to sit there, this is some advice. I'm sure every player's heard it, but listen to slow the game down. Marking this clip, so I got to
go for it. Yeah. It's all good.
And take out other things.
Before we keep it rolling here, you want to hear a positive take of me? Okay. This was posted how long ago? About just over an hour and 2 minutes ago. Very similar starting point as the Angry Lizard video with the shares in the view count and the average watch time. I think the average watch time is the biggest one, and the non-follower percentage. It's very similar starting point as that.
I love that.
Anyways, that's sick.
To continue onward here, apologize. Random thought for you. This is a note that I did write down, and I'm curious your thought. Do you think other pitchers get pissed when they lose to this lineup? Like, obviously, like we've beat other teams and stuff like that with this lineup that we've put out there. Do you think other pitchers are like pissed because I feel like we've become that team that
I would say it's more flip-flopped. I think the lineups that the Red Sox are facing as a pitching staff are more pissed off. The whole entire narrative for the whole entire offseason, spring training, even at the beginning of the year, was this pitching staff, this rotation is going to suck. And they've gone out and proven the opposite. And it's like, oh, it's a fluke. The national audience and the local audience, reporters have been saying that about the Red Sox. And everybody's been waiting for that team to absolutely mollywop the Red Sox pitchers. And that has yet to happen outside of today with the 5 earned on Chase Anderson. I think it's that. I don't know if it's more so the offense, because an offense can have a good day here and there, or have like a 3-game or a week-long hot streak as a group. A pitching staff running really good for a month plus like this, 3+ legs through, is much more challenging, I think, personally. And I think that the opposing team's offenses are going to be much more frustrated here. And I think that is what's happening more so.
That's a take I did not think of, like thinking about it from that opposite point of view. Like, cause I would have thought as a pitcher, like not a Tristan McKenzie-esque, but anybody low this lineup down and then they go out and put up 8 runs on you randomly. You know
outside
what I mean?
of
Like,
Reed Detmers, man? No.
Yeah, pretty much. But not to think about it, we were what the hell's going on.
Same thing with the fastball numbers we just shared. Like, you were a hitter, I was not. But like any hitter that I know that didn't see a fastball for the at-bat and they get out, they're walking back to the dugout and they're like, that pussy didn't throw me a fastball. Throw me a freaking fastball next time. See what happens. See what happens. Like the frustration that must be going on in the opposing team's dugouts because of the lack of fastballs they're getting and everything's moving all over the place, like 18 freaking inches. Oh,
especially as a major league hitter too.
Yep. It's got to be infuriating.
Frustrating. Continue on here. So there was a grand slam hit. I think I already explained that to you. Bases got loaded. Cora opts to leave Chase Anderson in to face Jose Ramirez. He goes down 3-0 really quickly, works back to 3-2. And I had written down, I go, either Chase Anderson has the biggest set of balls on him right now, or this is going to be the most predictable grand slam ever. And sure enough, the next pitch, because like Jose Ramirez was taking daddy hacks. And I was like, maybe Chase Anderson 3-2 can throw him a changeup, like get him aggressively swinging here. And he pays him. But nope, throws him a heater, and J Ram absolutely crushes this thing for a grand slam. I then said, can't wait for Liam Hendricks to come back. God damn, is he going to bring an energy that we need? I love this guy. So Jemai interviewed him during the game, and he sits there, and Jemai goes, so where are you at in your rehabilitation right now? And he goes, Cleveland. And he goes, no, I'm talking about like health-wise. And he goes, yeah, no, I'm just messing with you. But and then he goes right into it. And like he just brings this thing where he's talking about how he loves hockey and stuff like that. And he goes, and he's talking about how much he loves hockey. But then Jemai asks him, he goes, is there ever a bad time to say good day? And he goes, no, there's never a bad time to say good day. Morning could be mid-afternoon. He goes, could be sober, could be 10 beers deep. Doesn't matter. Good days, never a bad time for it.
Good day.
And so, long story short, I can't wait to have this fucking.
Absolutely. He's a spark plug to any pitching staff, any bullpen. I'm really looking forward to it. I thought it was a great signing despite him being hurt for the initial part of it. He's going to be a workhorse. He's going to step up, I think, especially, God forbid, if Kenley gets hurt or if we end up deciding to trade Kenley with Liam coming back a similar time around the trade deadline and can step in and fill that void. And it's a cheaper option, too, and he's here for the year after when Kenley's a free agent, and you might as well go get value with him while you can.
Exactly, and I think you'll get appreciation out of this. One thing that he did say, too, in the broadcast or getting interviewed was that this group of guys, like in the bullpen especially, are really chill dudes. He's like, I've been in bullpens before where like dudes had set spots where they're going to go into the 7th, 8th, 9th inning, whatever it may be. When that time was coming up, like you couldn't talk to him after, say, the 4th inning because he's mentally getting in the zone. He goes, I got no issue with that. Like everybody does their own thing. He goes, this is just a really chill group of guys that just like want to compete. And I really like to hear that out of a veteran who, especially if we know Liam Hendricks from like the All-Star game in, 2021, 2022, where he's just dropping F-bombs mic'd up. Didn't even know he was mic'd. Just dropping F-bombs. And like hearing a dude like that who I think is going to shoot you straight and probably tell you how it is, to hear him say that makes me feel like that vibe in that bullpen, that staff is nobody's trying to do too much right now.
Absolutely. You got to love hearing that from him. And I can't wait for him to be back to lead that group.
Amen. A couple more notes here, and then we'll get to the series look ahead. Don't let Field single. Woo. All about it. Another one. Raise that average up, baby.
Yay, Bobby.
Reese is the best at dunking the ball into late.
He's got to be really good 100 yards or less out of the pin in golf. He's got to be an absolute...
I wouldn't even say golf. I feel like he's got to be a stud fungo golf guy.
Oh, yeah, like feeling peachy, giving it to the catcher. Those little catcher pop-ups.
I guarantee he can hit a mean catcher pop-up, but I feel like in the air for 5 seconds. You don't think I can do it? Watch this.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah?
Break out the stopwatch there.
Yep. Willier's squaring up balls hard. Everything that man hits is being hit hard. We did already touch upon this, but I did say too many off speed. Booster needs it. Booster has the juice to gas it up. Let's let him. At this time, it was not 5-4. It was 5-2 or 5-3. And I wrote, despite the current score, we did out hit them that game 10-8. Yep. But at one point it was 10-5. Pitchers are athletes, despite what people say. To play today, well, wasn't led for an out. I don't know if you saw this one.
No,
No.
sir.
It was Stephen Kwan dropped on a bunt. Weiser had to go towards the third base side, took a big hop. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It was Brian Rocchio who dropped on a bunt. Takes a big hop. Weiser picks it up, steps off his back foot. Just like a really good play for
a guy that looks like Weissert, too. Great bid.
That's what I'm saying.
Pitchers are indeed athletes. Don't let them tell you otherwise.
Right after that, Rocchio goes to steal second base, and David Hamilton does not catch the ball. Granted, it wasn't throwing out runners.
It's weird with Wong because you and I would compliment Wong constantly last year for his chooch back there. It's like non-existent anymore.
Non-existent.
Oh.
Duran out here making plays. Thought he wouldn't be good out in center field. Everybody was worried about moving him and stuff like that. And Rocchio's now at second base. There's a line drive to center field. Duran comes in on it, lays out S catch, pops right up, guns out Rocchio at second base.
Who did that?
Duran.
That's better. I thought that's what you said, but I think you stuttered over it.
Yeah, I definitely did. I apologize there. Just to say it again, it was I was actually going to click it again. But no, it was having play, throws him out, gets a runner out a second. Everybody's worried about his defense out there, buddy. Then we actually what he did here, but
you probably forgot what second base looked like. You forgot to touch it or something like that. Drop the ball again.
This is where things get negative. I said, and we're back to throwing the ball around, and Chris Martin needs to be home in this place. So to line up the situation, J. Ram's at third base, Naylor's at second, I believe. Chris Martin throws one into the dirt. Reese kind of loses it. It separates away from the body. And J. Ram sees that nobody's covering home. Chris Martin didn't even break for home. So he goes to sprint for home. Martin then suddenly is like, oh, here it comes. And he's jogging to the plate. Reese bobbles it and goes over. Naylor ends up getting third base as well. Was terrible. And that sucked to see. Chris Martin is showing his age. And I mentioned this last pod. I love Marty. Big fan of him. Silver Fox he is. And we're just going to see something out of him. And then just the team should beat on them.
Never.
But I will say this too. People may say the Guardians are off to a hot start, but they are the best team in baseball right now, according to the record. So to have done what we in every single game for the most part, pretty impressive for the lineup that we were shelling out there.
I will take it.
Here's a look ahead.
We are coming back to the park at Fenway. Yes, we'll be home for this series. Starts tomorrow. We're going to get a potential pitcher's duel. Probably the matchup of the day, if you ask your baseball heads that like not just Red Sox baseball, but MLB as a whole. You got Shota Amananga, whatever the heck, however you pronounce it. Imananga versus Cutter Crawford. Imananga has a sub 1.5 ERA to start the year. Cutter Crawford has a sub 1 ERA to start the year. Absolute electric factory on the mound here. Shota's a lefty. Minorly concerning with the lefty heaviness in our lineup, but we got a shot against this guy. Next, you got your favorite pitcher in the major leagues, TBD, going for not the Red Sox for a change here. We don't see TBD for the Sox. No, it is for the Chicago Cubs. The Cubbies are throwing TBD versus Josh Winkowski for the Red Sox. The Wink Dog is going up after shoving 3 1/3 innings last time out with 1 Ernie. Game 3, the finale, will be left-handed pitcher Jordan Wicks for the Chicago Cubs versus Tanner Houck. Houkamania, brother! In the finale. Houck is 8th in the league in ERA here to start the year. Jordan Wicks, again, similar to Shota Imananga. Concerns me because he's a lefty, but doesn't have the same stuff that Shota has there in his arsenal, so I like our chances there. Overall here, Cody Bellinger just went on the IL for the Cubbies, so not many of their offensive pieces are scaring me these days. When you go look at the numbers, no one's really flashing anything too sexual out there in the numbers and in the metrics. Early on, that could change. But going against the Red Sox starting rotation here, even with a wink dog start there, I'm taking the Red Sox all day against that lineup. Even though our alleged AAA batting lineup is out there, I'll take them against this Chicago Cubs starting rotation piece and their bullpen. For me, game one, Cutter versus Imanaga, that's the one that I think is a toss-up personally. But I'm going to take Crawford. I think he limits walks again. Last outing, he had 3, if I recall. Outing before that was a 0 piece. I think Crawford starts to find his groove here, consistency-wise, of getting into the games and gives us 6 strong against the Cubbies lineup. We'll see if he gets a win. Wink Dog in game 2 against TBD. I think Wink Dog solidifies himself as a nice little band-aid on the dam here that's bursting of our starting rotation and gives us a nice, strong 4-inning piece and one-ups himself from last week. We got a win in that middle game. Third game against Jordan Wicks. Despite him being a lefty against our lineup, we got Hulkamania on the mound, and that's going to be a win, brother. Come on now. Hulk is going to do it. I'm going to go a loss in game 1 here, despite Cutter being on the mound. Shota's been nails, and he's a lefty. I mean, those 2 recipes right there, really tough for me. Crawford's got to limit walks and get us deep into this game for us to have a shot, because I have a very strong indication that Shota will too. It's going to have to be like a 12-round boxing matchup against those 2. It's going to have to go pound for pound, punch for punch, match for match. They're going to have to really one-up one another. Whoever lasts longer in that starting matchup is going to win the game. Game 2, I have Wink, no doubt, against their TBD. Their TBD can't be as good as the Red Sox. Come on now, get the hell out of here. Wink Dog all day. One-ups his last outing of 3.1 innings. Game 3, Jordan Wicks, a mid-average lefty of the league. Going up against Tanner Houck. I'm taking Tanner Houck all day long, every single time. I'm riding the Houck train all the way to the finish line here. He's going to win this game single-handedly with this lineup that he's going up against, who hasn't really necessarily found their stride.
So you think
we're going 2-1? Yeah, 2-1 series win. Go Sox. Okay. We lose the first one, win the last 2. Get some momentum going for the Giants.
I love the positivity there. I do, and maybe you can talk me into this here. I'm a little convincing. I'm not sure where I'm at here. Imanaga versus Cutter is going to be probably the pitching matchup of the year so far that we've had. We have 2 of the best pitchers right now, lefty versus righty, going against each other. What scares me about Imanaga is his strikeout rate. He's one of the top in the league's of strikeout rate, and we strike out a ton, and we have a ton of lefties in our lineup. Granted, we have Tyler O'Neill back. He is homer prone. I'm not going to lie right now. If I was a betting man, I would probably take a Tyler O'Neill or Rob Refsnyder over on a home run. Just going to throw that out there. Really like that. But it makes me nervous because Shota could dice up this lineup very much so. And if Cutter doesn't go, 5-6 innings or something like that, he pitches fine, but say he has his normal stat line of, say, like 4.2 innings or 5 innings pitch with 3 walks, 6, 7, 8 Ks or something like that. Now we got to dig into the bullpen, which is already exhausted after today's game and yesterday's game, which then leads us into Tuesday, where we now go to Wink start, and that's a bullpen game. Behind the bullpen again. Now, granted, the Cubs bullpen has been disastrous this year, so that's the one game that actually I kind of have hope for. The Jordan Wicks game makes me nervous because in 23 innings pitched this year, he has 28 Ks. So, sorry, my dog's literally taking her bone and just throwing it around here like it's nobody's business. She's just...
I respect the reverse sweep, but hey, man, if you're thinking we're going to win that Wink game, you're thinking we're going to lose both of those games with the best pitcher on our staff right now in Cutter Crawford or Tanner Houck. Take your pick, 1A, 1B. You think we're losing both of those games with 1A and 1B and Houck and Crawford taking the bump?
I don't, but you got to keep in mind though. I don't think it's them that loses the game. I think that loses it for us, or some defense, or on the flip side, again, we have a very polarizing offense. They could go pummel Imanaga for 8 runs and then not show up the other 2 games, or vice versa. Like that could happen in the last game of the series. So I was like, hey man, the Cubs have Nico Horner. He scares me because he's starting to heat up on the defense. Good time to go down facing us. But then you got Christopher Morel, All right. He's strikeout likely. So, I mean, we do have a chance to kind of keep him at bay.
But he's a dormant volcano ready to burst with like
At
a
any
12
point.
home run in 8-game stretch like he's done multiple times.
I'm high on him because he went to Driveline. That's a little reason. But, like, I think he'd figure something out. It might hit a home run here. So, you know what? I'm talking myself into it. We take 2 out of 3.
Amanga
you know
has
what?
not. What do you got?
I was going to say, I'm going to take a bold statement here. We win the Imanaga start. I think he is homer prone. He's going to get introduced to Fenway Park in a very unhealthy way.
I was
And we
about
are
to say
going to
that.
blow him to pieces. If we get into that bullpen early and it's a bullpen game for them on Tuesday, all hell could break loose. And Jordan Wicks would be the one. It's like it's always that one guy that you don't think you're going to beat that shoves against us. Like Ben Lively, for instance. I told you from day one when we do that, but he's that one guy that's like, what if he sits there and just goes 6 inning, punches out 12 guys, allowed 3 hits with 2 walks or something like that.
Houck's matching that though. So you got the guy on the other side that's going to sustain that. God forbid Jordan Wicks has himself a career day out there.
Just the one thing that makes me nervous.
I don't know if that offense is going to do that twice with their best guy on the mound. I think they're going to look at that and be like, damn, Houck's giving us his best every freaking time out there. We got to be better on Houck Day. We got to be better and give him a little bit more offensive production. I love the Shota getting lit uptake, though, man. Dude, he's due for it, number 1. 2, he has never seen an environment like Fenway Park before. The fans are nuts. I know we haven't been doing great, but we're pissed off fans right now as a fan base, and that's a really scary recipe as an opposing pitcher specifically going in there. I really hope that he gets chirped beyond belief in the away bullpen environment. I hope somebody's there that just has gone through the Rosetta Stone Japanese playbook and is ready to roast his life, Kermit Cole style, and he just hears it every single pitch from pitch 1 until he gets taken out in the 3rd inning after the 4th home run that we have hit off of him to make it like 7-1. I cannot wait for that.
I don't know if they'll have depleted after that. So that's going to be my hot take. You know what? I might even just freaking bet him Tyler. I can see that happening. T.O.
I like that a lot. I might tail you on that one, especially against Imananga.
In the wink, we lose the Jordan Wicks start.
Sold.
There is a chance that we sweep too, but like that's just me being excited. But I don't.
It's with our heart. It's with our heart. Our mind, our big brains, and our big balls. But your heart.
My body's telling me yes.
Oh, fuck it.
Closing thoughts.
Yeah, I don't know how long I can deal with this Bob crap, man. I was looking at some. I was looking at some.
I'm over here. I can't fucking do this.
I'm sorry. I've been waiting forever since that second half. We had 20 bombs. But like I've been looking at some first base options, and there's a couple that I'm like, all right, like these are better than Bob outside of the defensive aspect that he brings to the table. I'm not going to break them down like crazy because like we're tired.
Just give me the
names. We're going to give the people less than 2 hours. Garrett Cooper just got DFA'd by the Chicago Cubs. Chicago Cubs are in town. That can be an easy little transaction right there. Hey, come into our dugout, Bojack. Come join us and just ruin the whole entire away trip for the Cubs right here. And be a reason why we win the series right away. You know what I mean?
Quick
like that'd be
tidbit.
Cool. Damn good. I will take that. And like we've learned before with Red Sox players, injuries are flukes. Next guy, similar aspect of that, but we've let him go already this year. CJ Cron. I think that's a safe one here because he was already part of the system for a brief period of time. Similar with Garrett Cooper. Plagued by injuries, but when he was healthy, he was an all-star multiple years and was a top 10 home run guy in the league. And Lord knows we could use that. I have 2 more options that are a little bit more probably out there because they haven't been playing. Trey Mancini. I would love him as a Red Sox. I think that he would be loved by the fans and by the players and by the coaching staff. That's a really good veteran leader as well. He just hasn't really been healthy or consistent in his playing opportunities once he left the Orioles. So a little concerned there. Last one is a journeyman that I like to compare to a Kyle Schwarber signing or a Hunter Renfroe signing here. And that would be journeyman Luke Voit to play first base for the Boston Red Sox here. A man that has a lot of swing and miss and strikeout potential, which is something that this lineup does not need, yes. But, I can just see him with no undershirt, 7 buttons unbuttoned like Mike Napoli, biceps
Going
the size of Zeus. No, hitting freaking tanks out of Fenway, wrapping them around the pesky pole, hitting them all over the monster, and just that whole demeanor of him, I just think fits Boston really well in a similar fashion it fit Kyle Schwarber and how it fit Hunter Renfroe so well, and how it's fitting Tyler O'Neill too. I can just see that being a cool fit, and you know what? Why not at this point? Bob can't hit for shit. So, like, give Luke a shot. Like you just said, he can't hit. He's going to go 0 for 4 with 4 Ks. Spoil has been doing the same fucking.
It's more valid. But the bomb potential gives me a tickle.
But Bob has that same bomb potential.
I like to whisper too.
I was just going to say it. So, to your takes there, the least that I like out of all those is Luke Voit, to be honest. You know, when he was with the Yankees like 5-6 years ago and he was crushing it, whatever it was, 4 years ago, he's rinsed at this point.
Bob is too.
Bob's got youth on his side and plays defense at least. He brings something to the table.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'll give him that. Sorry for the Bob slander, but
if I didn't want to copy another podcast out there, I would suspend you.
Yep. We're not copiers here. Others might be, but we are not.
Out of the ones that you suggested, Garrett Cooper's obviously the most intriguing, especially because of the connection that they have. I have 2 guys that I want to throw out there for you because it kind of ties into my final note for you. Joey Votto is one of them. He potentially could opt out by May 1st.
Ooh.
And something about Joey Votto with his leadership that he could bring. I know the bat is not what it used to be. The defense is probably not as good as it used to be and stuff, just like Justin Turner was last year. I don't care if he bats 220, 240, 200.
Who has been a comparison to Joey Votto in his young Red Sox career so far? What better person to sign to groom an individual that you've probably thought about every day for quite some time now about extending? A new face for the Red Sox, the next face for the Red Sox. What better person to learn from than Joey Votto?
Cincinnati Reds, so he's already got all the colors for all this stuff. You know what I mean?
But
he's got vibes to him. He's got a great personality and everything. He's a dude. So I think he'd be a great mentor. But
and
I think
he's
his
already
bat would
dealt
still
with
play.
The youth stuff. He's already dealt with the youth stuff last year with that whole entire Reds team, and he fit right in with the group. It was like dad or like the cool uncle, you know.
And
that would be even more important here.
Exactly. And like the other thing too about him though is obviously there's injury risk when it comes to him. But I think he has something to prove this last year. Like because he's made it clear this is his last year playing and when he's 40 years old. But like let him ride it out in Boston. Like he's clearly not going to play for the for the Blue Jays. Like we could very much so use him here, use that leadership, bring those vibes, and let him ride it out here, see what happens, have some fun. Like it can't get much worse than it already is. The other one that I want to mention, this would have to be a potential trade, but Keston Hiura for the Detroit Tigers used to be a top prospect for the Milwaukee Brewers. Was a second baseman, righty power bat. Yep. He was going to be a potential, perennial 30 home run plus guy at second base, a lot of people were high on him last year. 7 years old. He plays first base, but he can play second base and third base here and there. But mostly probably better off at first base. But like he reminds me of like a Luis Urias
I was
type
just
player.
thinking the same exact thing.
Same wavelength, Trotta.
Same length, brother.
But like they have similar movements and stuff like that. And just like, why not take a chance on a guy like that? And on potatoes.
I think with this whole entire first base conversation, we're going to have a much clearer pathway and avenue to gather up our final decision here once May 1st's list comes out. You just discussed with Joey Votto. Once that comes out, which will be probably the day of our next pod, I would guess, or in the next 2 pods, whenever it may be. I think that's when we're going to have a really good assumption on what the Red Sox are going to do, whether that's stay with Bobby because he does what you said like an hour ago and goes the F off here against the Cubs and gets right because he's comfy, because he knows he's going to be in the lineup here regardless if he goes 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts and a golden sombrero, or he goes 5 for 5 with 5 home runs. He knows he's in that lineup, so hopefully that happens, and we don't need to get a replacement, and Bob gets right. Or he continues to do what he does outside of this unbelievable tear of a 2-game hitting streak, and he sucks it up, and we really have no other option but to do that. I will close this off by saying we got to give Nico Cavadas some love, as well as Blaze Jordan here. 2 guys that are in our farm system that I gotta love them. Blaze it up, Blaze. You gotta have these guys and put them into an account because Nico Cavadas is a monster. It's not like he's a young chap. He played 4 years at Notre Dame. He won there. He went to the College World Series. He knows what it takes. He's a professional. He has a very good approach at the plate as well. He can bring a high ceiling with the pop. I don't think he's going to strike out a shit ton at the next level here. And then Blaze Jordan, I think that's much more of a swing and miss potential guy, a much more like, ooh, that's a big boomer bust, like, oh, season's over type of move. I think the more realistic route here on April 25th at 11:05 p.m. is it's going to be internal, and they would end up calling up a Nico Cavadas and flip-flop him and Bobby Dahlback at Worcester. I think they would do that much more before a trade, especially with how early on in the year it is, and before they go grab a guy that hasn't touched a bat in a month in spring training or a DFA guy.
We very well could. I just don't know if they're going to bring him. Like, we might just be stuck with Bob at first base, which, if that's the case, I want to root for Bob. I want to see.
Do you think that's more of a white flag being waved, keeping Bob there, or calling up Nico? What do you think is more of the white flag?
I think it's more. Which one's more the white flag? I think calling up Nico's more of the white flag. It's a little bit at this point.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be waived anytime soon. The few veterans that we have on this roster see it. They're complimenting this youth up and down to the reporters and to the media. I really think that this whole entire group is in a good spot. They're treading water. We're half a game out of the wild card spot. We just got to continue to tread while reinforcements continue to come. We have Vaughn Grissom coming this upcoming Tuesday back. Man, we just got to keep it rolling. Got to keep chipping away, minimize the errors, take better at-bats, keep throwing up zeros. And who knows? By the time that Tampa Bay series comes around, we could be in a wild card spot with authority. Not just the third, the second one, maybe 2, 2.5, dare I say 3 games ahead.
I do.
Call us delusional all you want. Absolutely. This is a group that's not hanging their heads after losses and after getting borderline embarrassed for a bunch of these losses. They're a team that is sitting there, pissed off briefly, learning from it, and then flushing it and getting better the next time out. With the youth that we show up and down this group, I would want nothing more if I was Alex Cora, nothing more if I was Craig Breslow, and I want nothing more as a fan of this baseball team, but to see that with where we're at right now. And the fact that we're only a half game out through 25 plus games with that, and through all the negativity, I don't know how you can't root for a team like this, especially with the story of the GMs and the owners and all of that crap.
Hate ownership as much as you want.
This could be like an America's team sort of situation down the line here if they tread water and keep rolling. Because like the Athletics and their ownership thing, there's no chance that can be America's team type of thing here. They aren't anywhere close to a wild card spot here. And they won't be anytime soon. But the Red Sox here, somehow, some way, our Misfit Toys group, our island here, we're treading. We're a half game out of a wild card. We got the Cubbies that are a little banged up coming to town too here. The vibes aren't all the way up, but they're getting there.
They're getting there slow and steady. And I are going to get a special run at one point, whether it,
Max Crystal Ball has been right at a near 100% clip this year.
60%
That was the
of the time.
most, indeed. But the craziest thing the Crystal Ball of Mac has splooged out here has been that statement of a potential 17-4 run coming out. And quite frankly, I can smell it all over this group down the line here. Pow. I'm sorry,
That
what?
I didn't.
Did you say pow? Oh, that's what I thought.
One quiet. for
Vibes are
some
a little
reason.
bit back. It's all good.
Yep,
Vibes will
they
cut
are.
out. Vibes are getting there. Never. Train won't stop. It don't stop. It never stops. But me and Macadelic are exhausted. Mac, go blow your nose about 72 times. I'm going to go take my medication to hopefully make my back feel better and help me sleep. You guys keep it real. As always, Godspeed. Out of here.